All right, we're getting into Unit 4 here, the Early Republic, and on your formula chart, this is where you're going to take your notes. So again, 3, 4, 5 things that you find really interesting about this. So the Early Republic happens after the Constitutional era, and it pretty much starts with the election of George Washington when he takes office, 1789, and the Bill of Rights has not been ratified yet. Washington takes office and becomes America's first president, and he is still to this day the only president to be unanimously voted in as president. Like nobody voted against him. He was unanimously voted in. So during Washington's presidency, he set many different precedents, which are things that he did first because he had to. He's the first American president, so he has to do things first, and then other people follow what he did. One of the key ones that Washington did was he stepped down after 2 terms because he was reelected to a second 4-year term, and he stepped down after that term, thereby setting the precedent for each president to step down after 2 terms serving as president. Now, some people like John Adams did not get elected for a second term, so he only served for 4 years. But back to Washington, during this time, some things happened. He solidified the power of the federal government by stopping another rebellion. It's called the Whiskey Rebellion. And during the Whiskey Rebellion, farmers up in Pennsylvania did not want to pay a whiskey tax that the United States government was imposing. So they had a rebellion. Washington gets on his horse, gets the army, the U.S. Army, and starts marching towards Pennsylvania. When the Pennsylvania farmers that are rebelling realize what's coming for them, they stop rebelling. Thereby, Washington has restored peace. And proven that the government can stop a rebellion. So that's very important because it proves that the Constitution does work and that the government does have enough power to assert its authority over the states. All right, so the second president, John Adams, he was George Washington's vice president. He's one of the founding fathers. He did many great things during the American Revolution, but his presidency was kind of marred by controversy. In the XYZ affair, which was the first political scandal for America, and it was between some French agents and some of Adams' agents. Big issue there, and so that prompts him to get the Alien and Sedition Act passed, which was unconstitutional and overturned. Adams does not get reelected. He's succeeded by Thomas Jefferson, who was also one of the primary authors of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson serves for 2 terms. And he's also, let's see here, he does during his term, he buys the Louisiana Territory, Louisiana Purchase from France for a cool $15 million-ish. So that's a huge swath of land. It doubles the size of the United States. Pretty awesome. That happens. He sends out his secretary and another military officer for the Lewis and Clark expedition to explore the Louisiana Purchase and to try to find a route all the way to the Pacific Ocean, and they eventually make it after a couple of years of exploring. Next, we get Madison, so another figure during the Revolutionary War, and his presidency. What happens during his presidency is the War of 1812, or it's the second war between Britain. Britain tries to come back and they try to take back the Americas from America, and we go to war with them, and it kind of ends in a stalemate, and both sides just agree, hey, we're just going to go back to the way things were before this war. Interesting note during the War of 1812, 2 things. Number 1, the White House was burned down by the British, and President Madison barely escaped. So the original White House was burned down, and Washington, D.C. was actually sacked. And the other thing, the Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem, was written during this time by Francis Scott Key, who was out on a boat, the Battle of Fort McHenry in Baltimore, Maryland. He was trying to negotiate prisoner releases, and he saw the battle going on from a boat and could see that the American flag was still standing throughout the night. So it's a pretty cool little story there. After that, After the War of 1812, we get what's known as the era of good feelings because there's only one political party. Everybody's a part of that party, and America's making real progress. And this is around the time industrialization starts. People are really just, hey man, let's get all crazy and stuff, and so America's doing really well, and that follows into the presidency of James Monroe, who was our last revolutionary president, the one who took an active role in the Revolutionary War as either a soldier or a politician. So the first 5 presidents were all part of the Revolution, and Monroe actually, after coming up with, after the beating the British for a second time, or so they say, and then Spain being expelled from North America with Mexican independence, Monroe launches the Monroe Doctrine, which pretty much just says all European countries need to stay out of the Western Hemisphere, so out of North and South America. Do not try to recapture any of your colonies that have become free. If you do, America will fight you. So in 1823, America's now the powerhouse in the Western Hemisphere. Things are really good, but Monroe has served his 2 terms, and there has to be a new president, and so this is where things start getting crazy in American history again.